Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. Today marks the first day of September, and what better way to start official fall reading than to start my classic fall vlogs series that I do on my channel. I try to do this every year and it always goes wrong, and it's probably gonna go wrong this year too, but I have some video plans. I'm hoping I can stick to the schedule. We are starting out with reading the most popular thrillers on my TBR, which I'm sure you've discerned because that is the title of this video. I want to be clear, these are not the highest rated thrillers on my TBR. These are the books that have the most readership on my TBR. A lot of these books, all of these books are backlist titles, although none of this is true, which we'll talk about in just a second. Did just come out last summer. The first book I'm going to be reading in this video thus is None of This Is True by Lisa Jewell, who I have a complex relationship with, don't get me wrong. I've sworn myself off of Lisa Jewell books multiple times, but every time she comes out with a new book, it's just so popular and everyone loves it and I want to pick it up. So I've caved for the last time. Unless this book is good and she surprises me, then maybe I'll give her another chance. I don't know, we'll just see where this video takes us. This book is following Josie and Alex. Alex is a very kind of wealthy socialite. She has a podcast about successful women, and she meets Josie out one night at her birthday celebration at a restaurant. Josie's birthday is also on the same day, and so they sort of form a bit of a relationship. And Josie kind of is a weird little duck. She's got some strange things going on, maybe some criminal things going on in her life, and Alex is sort of drawn in. She sort of flips her podcast to focus on Josie, and very nefarious things are sure to ensue. Then I'm going to be reading In a Dark, Dark Wood by Ruth Ware. This is kind of our classic locked room mystery, I guess. We're following our main character. I believe her name is Claire. There's no synopsis on the back of this book, so I'm gonna have to look in and see if I can figure out. Okay. Our main character's name is Nora, and she is going to Claire's bachelorette party. She's rented out a sort of secluded cabin in the woods, and she's invited a very select few people to come. Nora's at first a little bit confused because her and Claire haven't really talked since high school. Something has sort of gone down between them, but we don't know what it is. But she agrees to go after thinking it over, and someone gets murdered because in classic Ruth Ware fashion, locked room mystery is the answer. And the last book I'm reading for this video is The Good Lie by A.R. Torr. I actually just got this book for my birthday, so it's fairly new on the TBR on the shelves. This book has a bit of a complex synopsis on the back, but basically we're following a psychiatrist. She somehow meets this defense lawyer, and he wants her to create a psych profile for a case he's working on because his client has been accused of being a serial killer, and he doesn't think that his client is responsible. Everyone's kind of lying and has secrets to hide, and our psychiatrist Gwen is going to figure out what's really going on. So that is the TBR for the week, and let's get started with the video. Good morning, my friends. I have an update for you, and it's actually a good one. I'm so excited. I read half of None of This Is True in one sitting last night. I'm really liking it, and I guess I'm glad that I decided to give Lisa Jewell another chance. I know I talked a little bit in the intro about how I just don't like most of her books. I don't think I've ever given a Lisa Jewell above a 3-star, and I've read, I think, close to 5 of her books, if not more. But this was just so hyped, and I know, again, I already talked about this in the intro, but I think y'all might be onto something because this rating on Goodreads is actually also really high. It's like above a 4-star, which is super rare for a thriller, I feel like. And something about the plot is just addicting in this book. These women are both kind of hiding something. Well, okay, so we have Alex, right? And she's our podcast / documentary host. And then we have Josie, who's the birthday twin. And Josie is like weird. Josie's hiding a lot of things. She's a strange woman. We're slowly starting to kind of figure out her life, but again, we don't know if any of it's actually true because that's the title of the book, so we're led to be suspicious of her. And I feel like there are so many little individual mysteries within our kind of bigger what's going on with Josie mystery that it just is making it really enjoyable to read from and not getting bored. Lots of twists to come, I'm sure. Or maybe we'll figure out that a lot of this stuff actually is true, and in that case it would still be an interesting story. And then Alex kind of has her own things that she's dealing with in her life, and I'm kind of excited to see if Josie kind of corrupts her way of thinking or not. I've seen a couple people talking about how there is a big thing that's going on in here and they are not super impressed with the way that it's dealt with or talked about, and I didn't understand until I started reading this. And I will say I maybe don't agree with the way that that topic is being discussed, portrayed either. And if it ends up being a plot twist, then maybe I will feel differently about it. But if it's not, then I think I kind of have to agree with those people that are talking about how this certain plot line that's running through here is making them uncomfortable, maybe isn't being approached with sensitivity. But I also think Lisa Jewell often kind of walks that line about what's acceptable to discuss and how it's acceptable to discuss different matters. It's not detracting from my enjoyment of the story at all, because this is a thriller and it is dark. So I'm not gonna like dock it points because of the way that the topic is approached in here, but I just want to say, if you had issues, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about if you've already read this. If you had issues with that certain plot line, I can see where you're coming from. So anyway, I'm gonna take this to work with me today. I'm gonna start part 2. I'm really excited, and we'll just see where it goes. I hope that it keeps its momentum, because I feel like a lot of times Lisa's books drop off for me in the second half. So we'll just have to wait and see how it goes. But yeah, I just wanted to pop in and say that I'm actually really enjoying this so far, and I'm excited that I'm giving her another chance as of right now. Okay, couple of things to talk to you guys about this afternoon. Thing number 1, I finished this and I'm gonna give it, I think, like 3.5, 3.75 stars, because I truly did enjoy the build up to the twist. I thought that this was a really fun take on the podcast, because most of the time when we have a podcast in a story, which I've talked, I feel like, kind of a lot about this summer, how I feel like ever since those original few books that really hit it off with the podcast element came out, we've been seeing it in like every single thriller, and how I've been kind of annoyed by that. I feel like I've talked about that a lot, but in this case, our podcaster Alex is not originally a true crime podcaster. She's originally a podcaster about successful women, and she kind of goes down this rabbit hole with Josie, not even intending for it to be a true crime podcast, and then it sort of just takes that turn eventually. And then in this specific story, the podcast is also being adapted into a Netflix documentary, so there's some really fun elements and like an added twist on that original podcast trope, and I just really appreciated how unique this took that element of the story. I do feel like the end of this was drawn out far more than it needed to be. Those last 100 pages, I feel like, could have been sort of concised down a bit into something a little bit shorter, maybe like 50 pages of length versus 100 pages of length. And I did enjoy how we were kind of left guessing still about what was true until the very end, and maybe even a little bit after that as well. One of Lisa Jewell's favorite things to do, at least in the books that I've read from her, is to throw in one more twist or one more sign of uncertainty, I guess, in that epilogue or those last few pages. And I think that that adds a fun element, because you know that it's coming, you know there's still something else to be surprised by, and I feel like that helps you kind of get through to the end. But in order for this to be anything above a 4-star, I feel like it has to do something wholly original, wholly unexpected, especially being a thriller, and I don't think that this book necessarily did that. So 3.5, 3.75. It was fun. Was it absolutely incredible? No, but I get where the hype is coming from on this, and I think it deserves it, even if it wasn't my favorite thing ever. I just love me a good unhinged women thriller, and this did have like aspects of a traditional domestic thriller, but also more focused on the female relationship side of things. And that felt like it was really moving the story along in a great way, and a way that I feel like I don't get sick of in thrillers like I maybe do for the husband and wife traditional domestic thriller setup. So overall, this was a really, really fun time. I am also now just under halfway through In a Dark, Dark Wood, which I don't know if I said this in the intro or not, but this is one of those books that has been on my shelves forever. I've had it, I think, since my freshman year of college, maybe. Right when I was really first getting back into reading thrillers. after taking a break for a while. And I have kind of a complicated relationship with Ruth Ware, just like I do with Lisa Jewell, although I haven't technically like sworn off of Ruth Ware books. It's just that she hasn't written anything that I've really loved, and so far this isn't really different. It's sitting at like a 3-star right now. The issue that I'm having with this one is Reese Witherspoon has blurbed the front of this and it says, "Prepare to be scared, really scared." Now listen, I'm 130 pages into this and there's absolutely nothing thrilling that's happened so far. Nora is at the bachelorette party at the secluded house in the woods, which we love those vibes, but literally nothing has happened. Claire's friend Flo, who has invited her to this bachelorette party, is definitely kind of weird, kind of unhinged. Like, she has obviously some sort of secret in her past, or something bad that's happened to her, because she's acting a little crazy. But other than that, like, we've just gotten set up. We also know that there's something that happened between Nora and Claire in the past, which obviously we can discern that from just the general synopsis of the book because she hasn't seen Claire in 10 years. So we're kind of waiting to figure out what that was. And then just some like general friendship drama. I guess we're like learning about the characters and how they know Claire. But really, the plot has been pretty slow moving so far, like parallel with a really boring lit fic, I would say, up to this point. So the only kind of thriller aspect we're getting is we're getting these flash forward chapters from Nora every, I don't know, like 20 pages or so. And they're really short chapters. Nora is in the emergency room and someone's been murdered. We don't know who it is. Nora has no memory of what went down. She doesn't know how she was involved in this situation, but she knows because she can hear the like police people talking about how someone who was at this bachelorette party was murdered. We have no information on that whatsoever, and those chapters are really short, usually like 1 page. So at this point, like, I'm really getting nothing from this. The writing is easy, the chapters are quick, so I'm gonna continue it because I wanna know what happens. And I feel like a lot of people really love this book, but at the same time, I was just expecting it to be like a little bit more creepy, especially because we start with an interlude in this book of the original, like, In a Dark, Dark Wood tale. So I was kind of expecting it to almost be like haunted house vibes as well, or like a little bit horror tinged, you know what I mean, where there's not actually anything paranormal going on, but like just a spookier vibe. The beginning of this book starts like opening in the fall. We're set in like the wilderness, right, in this big empty house. Like, I feel like we have such a good setup, but we're not doing anything with it yet. And I mean, there's still 150 more pages to go, so I'm sure we will, but that's my big issue with Ruth Ware books, is I feel like it takes her so long to actually get into any of the action in her stories, and I'm just kind of bored right now. But we'll see if things pick up here this afternoon. I don't think I'm gonna have time to finish this afternoon, but I'm definitely going to read another substantial chunk because today's my first day that I've had like completely off in a week, and so I'm just trying to stay home and enjoy being at home because this next week is gonna be fairly busy for me. So I'll try to get through a good chunk, but that's kind of where we're sitting right now. Based on my reading experience of these 2 books so far, finishing this one, halfway through this one, do I think that these books deserve to be the most popular thrillers on my shelves that I haven't read yet? I get the hype for this one, but do I think it deserves to be as popular as it is? Not really. As far as this one goes, I'm completely lost on the over 300,000 ratings on Goodreads that this has. Like, I know that Ruth Ware is a hyped author, but this book is fairly old, and I feel like even when it came out, it didn't get like an overwhelming amount of buzz like None of This Is True did. So I'm just kind of confused on what's making this so appealing to people. So I'll check back in when I have an update for you guys. Well, I know I said I probably wasn't going to finish this today, but I did finish this today, like 3 hours ago, actually. And I've just been racking my brain, like thinking of something that I can tell you about this book, but honestly, literally nothing happens in this book. And the only reason that I was able to finish it today is because I skimmed the last 100 pages, because that's how little details mattered, because nothing happened in this book. I'm giving it 2 stars. If it wasn't obvious, I didn't really like this book. I feel this way with a lot of thrillers that I read nowadays, but like, if this is the first thriller you've ever picked up in your life, you're probably gonna enjoy this. You're probably gonna think the twist was fun, the story was entertaining, maybe, I don't know. The lack of plot I don't think changes, but maybe the twist would like shock you, I don't know. As far as my experience with this book, there is only one twist, one mystery we're essentially trying to solve. And the book gets very, very repetitive in Nora's amnesia of the incident and her just having the same thoughts over and over again, but like not really remembering anything else. And then her like thinking about how she can't remember anything else. And then her like questioning what happened. And then the cycle just repeating itself over and over and over again. It was just a lot for me. And this book was not long by any means. This book was 308 pages. With my skimming, I think this book took me like maybe 3 hours to read. Maybe. I'm sad that I didn't like this. I don't get why this book is so popular by any means whatsoever. And I legitimately do not have any other criticisms to tell you about. Like, this was just boring. The writing was fine. The pacing kind of sucked, but the chapters were fast, so that helped. The characters were pretty flat, one-dimensional. There wasn't any spooky vibes. So if you're thinking of picking this up, like specifically as a fall-related thriller, don't, because it wasn't thrilling. As far as the other characters go, I thought that maybe we were going to be exposed to like some other secrets. This just would have been so much more fun if other characters besides Nora had a secret in her past. And like her secret was just like why she wasn't really friends with Claire anymore, which honestly, I actually don't really get. I don't really understand why she wasn't really friends with Claire anymore. Like, I don't even think it really had anything to do with her relationship with Claire. It was something to do with something kind of completely separate, but still had something to do with the story. Sorry that I'm talking so vaguely and like maybe nonsensically. I just don't want to spoil the one single twist that was in here. But I thought that maybe we were gonna get like secrets from everyone else that was at the bachelorette party too. No. I read it. It's off my shelves now. Took me not even a full day to finish, so whatever. My feelings aren't hurt about it, but as far as this vlog goes, like the stuff that y'all are reading, and by y'all, I mean like the general masses, why? Because yes, I had fun with None of This Is True, but like that wasn't the best thriller I've ever read. There are so many 5-star thrillers I can think of that are so much better than both of these books, and they have such a low readership compared to these two stories. So I'm gonna start The Good Lie by, is it A.R. Torr? Is that the author of this book? I don't know. I'm gonna start that now. Maybe I need a break from thrillers. Maybe I should read something else. That's what I'm gonna read next. I'll update you when I have something to say. Fingers crossed that this is going to be the winner. I've never read anything from this author before, so I'm not sure what to expect going in, but we shall see. Well, I was supposed to put this video up on Sunday. It's now Thursday, and I still only just started this book today. It wasn't because I didn't want to read this book. It's just because I haven't read anything at all. Not even an audiobook for the last 5 days. Life has just been so busy, and I just have not been in the mood to read, which I think is okay. I'm not holding it against myself, but I am kind of sad that I didn't get this video up on time because my posting for this last half of summer has just been super inconsistent, but I feel like y'all don't really care about that, actually. I went to a friend's wedding this weekend, and a lot of people that I haven't seen in like several years were there. So I kind of spent the weekend catching up with old friends, and then work has been super busy this week. And then also the county fair is happening right now, so I'm gonna include some footage after this clip of that because I feel like that's cute and fun and aesthetic, and I want to share it with you. And I'm also going to provide you with an update on this because I have started reading it finally. This seems really promising. I like the direction that this is going. Right off the bat, we're set up with some easy to understand but complex dynamics between the characters. There's lots of things going on, so I feel like there's going to be lots of twists rather than just one. I think that this book actually does have the potential to really surprise me with a twist in here because there's just so much going on right now. And I love a thriller that has layers, that has multiple things for me to figure out. The synopsis on the back of this is actually fairly complex, so I'm not even really sure what I said in the intro of this video, but I'm going to break it down for you right now. Gwen is our main character. Gwen is a criminal psychologist. Gwen is going to build a psych profile for this serial killer because she met this lawyer at a bar after a funeral of one of her clients. His name is Robert, and his son is one of this serial killer's victims. And recently someone has been accused of being the killer, But Robert doesn't believe that he's the killer, so he's actually going to be his defense lawyer in court. And he's kind of hiring Gwen to build a psych profile of the killer so that he can maybe figure out who actually did it. So Gwen's super into him. They hooked up after they met at the bar. Now they're gonna work together. There's also some other dynamics going on in here that haven't really been talked about a ton because I'm only like 65 pages in. So I will expand on that more when I check in with you next. But I just wanted to say this is seeming promising. I think that if any book is going to be the win of this video, it's going to be this one, because I feel like this is putting a really fun twist on the psychological thriller vibes. A lot of times we follow a psychiatrist and they have secrets and their clients have secrets and whatever, but I've never read one that borders like a legal thriller so much. And I am a sucker for legal thrillers, you guys. Like, something about that is just so interesting to me. So I think this book is going to check a lot of the boxes that I really like in mysteries and thrillers, and I'm excited to lay in my bed and read this for a good long while now. So see you later. Maybe this is kind of morbid, but I just want to say one of my favorite things about working at the funeral home is sometimes when families have a lot of flowers at their service, they don't want to take all of them home, which means I get to take them home. And before you come at me and be like, lilies are so bad for your cats, I know. I'm about to take the lilies out of this. There's only 2. I'm about to take the lilies out of this and throw them away and then take out the trash right now. But I just wanted you to be able to enjoy this arrangement in its full beauty and glory before I go to town on it and rip them out and ruin the arrangement. So anyway, fun fact about my job. Super, super fun, super classy. Hi friends. I accidentally left my book at work. I meant to update you this morning before I even left for work, but I just completely forgot. And then I was reading at work, and then I left my book at work. Anyway, you see, I don't have the book to hold up for you, is what I'm saying. I am about 75 pages out from the end, and honestly, no plot twists have happened yet. I would have liked to see maybe like a little twist at the point that I'm at now, and maybe it's just about to come. I don't want this to turn into something where we get all of the reveals within like 10 pages of the end of the book. That just irritates me. Just like my talking is irritating Tinkerbell right now. I guess she does not like when I make noises when she's sitting on my lap. Still loving the dynamics, still loving the writing. I'm super interested. I'm just like flying through. The chapters are so short. I love like good pacing in a thriller. And I'm absolutely getting that from this book. So that's really exciting. It's sitting at like a 4-star right now, but honestly, we really won't know until the twists sort of play out what the final rating is gonna be. So I don't really have a ton to say right now, but I just felt like I should pop in and kind of give you a middle of the road update. Since the last time we talked, I had only read the first 65 pages. I don't really think I have any life updates to add. I'm working this weekend, so this vlog is probably gonna wrap up just with the last update when I finish the book, and I'm not gonna have any other like aesthetically pleasing footage to throw in here, which I think is okay because the video is almost over anyway. I told you she doesn't like when I talk when she's sitting on my lap. It's just the way of the world. So anyway, that's kind of where I'm at. I'm assuming I'll finish this tonight and I'll check in with you then. Happy Saturday. I just finished this book and it's time to chat and wrap this video up. I'm gonna give this 4 stars. I'm excited about it. Was this completely revolutionary? No. Did the plot twist kind of get me? Yeah, there was a couple twists at the end, which I appreciated. One of them came out of nowhere. I had a feeling something like that was gonna happen, but what actually went down had me shocked. could have never seen that specific thing coming, which I love to see. We did wrap up all of those twists within the last like 50 pages or so, but I think that that's okay. My big issue is when there's just twist after twist and they all happen within like 10 pages of each other and then the book is over. And I feel like this book had a nice resolution after we got all of our reveals sort of set up, so I am overall really pleased. I don't think I actually mentioned this, but we are also getting like snippets and perspectives of the boy who has escaped the serial killer every now and then. They're fairly infrequent, but they're always a fun chapter to kind of get the other side of things and sort of raise our suspicions, and so I thought that that element was done really well. Also, I am giving this book an honorable mention just for being 240 pages. I think that this had plenty of plot development, it had plenty of twists, it had lots of suspense, and it didn't get boring, it didn't get exhaustive, because it ended at 250 pages, which was plenty to tell the story that this book was trying to tell. And it didn't feel overdone at all. I feel like if you've been watching my channel for a while now, you know that I have a big gripe with thrillers that are like over 350 pages. I think the ideal thriller length is like 250 to 275 pages, and this fit perfectly in that. So for that, I am really grateful. Because this is my first episode of fall vlogs, which I try to do every fall, I'm actually committing to it this year. I feel like I should go back through and tell you if any of these books are actually highly fall vibes, fall material. Now, obviously, fall is thriller reading season. So theoretically, all of these books are good books to read in the fall. I don't think that this had any very specific fall vibes, but if you like kind of a legal thriller with lots of suspense for your fall reading, I think that this would be a great choice for you. None of This Is True is definitely a summer thriller. It's definitely a summer read. It all takes place during like a huge heat wave in Europe, so I think the vibes are very summery in this case. Obviously, again, it's a thriller, so it fits the fall profile, but I do think if you're looking for a summer thriller, this is a good one to add to your list if you haven't read it yet. And In a Dark, Dark Wood is set during the fall, so technically, yes, it qualifies, but like I said, the vibes in here really just didn't exist. Like, there really just like weren't vibes of any kind in here, and it was boring. So a lot of people like this. Maybe you'll like this too. This is kind of, I think, more of a standard mystery type of vibe than a thriller. Maybe mysteries like this just aren't for me, I'm not sure. And with that, I think that wraps up everything I needed to say in this outro. So thanks so much for joining me today. I hope you're excited for fall reading just as much as I am, and I'll catch you guys in another video soon. Bye!